Hello to you all. I'm recording from outside today, so you'll be able to hear, I hope, the birds and some of the wind. I've already laid the cards out here. I took my time shuffling and sensing into just today's nature. The first thing that I felt into was that there's a change in the wind, as if there's been a stagnant energy of sorts for some time. But then the wind blew, and what I saw with it was what looked like a mini dandelion. It might have been like one of the, sections of the dandelion flying off. But all in all, what that message that it was sharing with me, coupled with the wind, was that there's been an unexpected sort of change in the direction, the feeling. Things are starting to move around naturally. It was just a matter of timing. And I sensed into a change in attitude as a result. Okay. And also that little dandelion I saw, it even had the stalk with it and it was just floating through the air. There are aspects of your wishes, okay, that are being fulfilled as we speak. I also need to expand on that. What it is like, you can make a wish, a major wish, okay? You can do that. And you expect that wish to be fulfilled a certain way, okay? Or in a certain timing or whatever it is, okay? So you kind of try to preempt how this wish is going to be fulfilled and what it looks like for it to be fulfilled, all of that. But what actually happens is that because you've shifted your focus away from obsessing about the things you cannot control, and you've brought yourself back into a state of gratitude, a state of service, a state of trusting the universe, trusting your surroundings, trusting your support system, trusting, source to provide back to you in whatever form what you put out, okay? So that reciprocity, that inherent benevolence in the world and the universe, you've got that back. You'd lost that for a while. You've got that back. And now with you having that back, having shifted, what holds your center of your balance, your sense of safety, okay? What's happened is that this wish, represented by the one dandelion, the greater plan, the greater picture, okay, of what, let's say, prosperity or your wish looks like, that dandelion has split itself into smaller portions that could be easy to miss, but that are actually able to reach way further than one dandelion under your control in your hand that you are blowing on, insisting that it spreads in the timing that you've dictated and in the way that you think it's going to happen. Okay, so nature has taken its course. A lot of the seeds you've planted, okay, are going to begin to show you the fruits that they are bearing, okay? And when I say this, what I'm explaining, just for clarity, is that I'm going to give an example, but there are smaller versions of your wish that have spread through what you used to perceive as small and too insignificant to make an impact. Okay? So what you used to perceive as small actually has become something that is going to prove itself to be very impactful. And what's happened is that these small things that you thought were insignificant have reached places that you can't see. And in those places, they are multiplying. Okay? You can't see this. This is not visible to you. This is just simply not visible to you. I have a helicopter passing. And so I'm going to pause in case you notice the difference in the sound. I'm back now, and I had a number on the timer, 050445. Those fours in between, and fours have been coming up a lot. The message that they're giving me is that this pause, this space that you were suspended in, it's giving me like hanged man, the space that you felt suspended in for a period that was prolonged, where you kind of realized that you're going to need to work on your mindset, workshop it a bit, clean it up a bit more than you'd actually done before. All of that period was destined to be the period that you use to really refine your mindset and get a real understanding, a close and intimate understanding of how important it is what you feed into your world through your mind, through your speech. Okay, the messaging that you carry, the narrative that you walk with, that you think with, that you feel with. Okay, what I mean by feel with is what you actually do with the feelings. I'm not saying to dictate your feelings, but when you feel things, how you interact with those feelings, the space you give yourself, and the results of like what you find. The importance of really getting close to that, you needed that, because that's how you've now gained an understanding of how to shift your world, and not to wait for your world to show you evidence before you believe what you believe, because you've realized, and I remember saying this yesterday, you've realized that that is counter-progressive, at least for you. Okay, so other ways of manifesting might work for other people, but the way you've made sense of things, you've realized that the change has to begin with you, because otherwise the world will run away with you. The change has to begin with you. Something had to break the cycle between you and the state of the world, because for a while the state of the world was managing your narrative. Okay, as much as maybe this is difficult to face, you came to this understanding. To be able to shift your perspective here, you have to have had to admit to yourself that, okay, I think I've been letting the world and my view of the world run how I see it. And so you interrupted that. You became the disruptor of your own perception, and you've now pivoted how you see your world, and now your world is shifting how it's bringing things back to you. I saw 747878. This is a lot of divine timing. Okay, this is also a 747, a Boeing 747, big plane flying. Like for me, it's just saying you're going to be flying, or you're going to feel like you're flying. You're going to feel like you're flying in autopilot. Let me just rather put it this way. You're aware that you're now flying in a sophisticated plane where you don't have to have all your alerts on, because the system is already like built to fly under all sorts of conditions. It is large enough, carried enough to not be easily destabilized. Okay, so you've got the advantage of like some kind of autopilot. It's not so much of a struggle anymore. And that's why you're building momentum, because you have an appreciation for how you even got to fly this particular plane, is how I'll put it. One of the ways that you can be confident that this reading is for you is that you have been very patient with your transformation. Okay? Very patient with it. When I look at these cards, look how we've got two high priestesses here. In the first and second rows, this is sort of where I was gaining an understanding of the energy. And the last row is kind of, I needed an understanding of where you're from, because I was already feeling it, but I wanted that confirmation. In your root chakra, the high priestess with this opportunities card. Do you see how this opportunities, she's amongst the branches, she's sort of holding onto the branch, standing on another branch, but there are no leaves here. There are no leaves. And so she's essentially created stability out of nothing, what it feels like. She was just working with branches, working off some kind of a framework. Okay, she used some kind of a framework, and this became the basis upon which she has channeled some form of a new structure for herself that she can rely on, irrespective of whether she can see the results. Doesn't matter what the season is, she's got this thing that she's sitting on and working off. Okay, this is when I was shuffling and putting out the cards, I was hearing started from the bottom, now we're here. That's what it sounded like. That's what I heard. Okay, this is saying a lot to me about your shift in mindset, because with the Four of Swords in like where you're coming from, that is telling me that to an extent you'd given up. You'd kind of given up. You were not seeing the world the way you're seeing it now. You were starting to have that feeling of having had enough. There were times you felt like you were moving backwards, not forward. And yeah, you've shifted that perspective quite a lot. And how is based on evidence. Okay, you've gone back to evidence of like how you even got to where you are, and you've changed your attitude. This has also happened through really embracing your nature as a high priestess, and recognizing that the information that you receive through your intuition, okay, through your nature, is not just a heads up. It is creation information. It is information that can be made real. So that's actually what you've realized, okay? You've woken up to that, okay, to your nature as a creator. And also, they're giving me the sun. It's like, if what I want out of my life is ultimate fulfillment, the revelation of my intuition, my intuition realized, my desires realized, then I better start believing in them. That's sort of what it's giving me. And this kind of started you off on a completely new journey. And I'm not sure if you're aware like that you've actually gone through quite a divine reset. This attitude is changing everything. Now, bearing in mind that you're manifesting, it's actually changing the circumstances of how your wishes move. Okay, how the seeds that you plant grow, where they grow to, the places they can reach. You've opened up your field completely, so your stuff is no longer stuck. You unstuck yourself by unstucking your attitude. You can see here in your sacral chakra, I've got the prosperity card. She's not worried about time. She's not worried about money. She's not worried about getting the answers to stuff. She believes, okay? She believes and she trusts, okay, in what she's put in. Another thing is, she's giving me lots of presents. She's giving me a lot of presents. She's also found a way to turn her doubts around, to understand them better, and to use them to her advantage, to grow from them. Okay, look at this Ace of Swords. This is where you come from. Do you see this spiraling staircase? Instead of clarity, this card is speaking to me more around wanting clarity, wanting to gain clarity, wanting to gain certainty, because do you see all these calculations in the background? It like looks like someone trying to calculate, figure out when this is going to happen. You've got a different relationship right now with your sense of worthiness or deservedness over prosperity. So you've opened up your world. This is no longer just about a sense of duty, a sense of service, which is coming up in your crown chakra as well. This is not just about that anymore. It's around pouring yourself into the places that you are sent into. Pouring yourself into those, because when you feel drawn to a place and you pour yourself into it, it starts to give back to you in many ways, and you've become more open around how it gives back to you, and more open in terms of how it actually gives back to you, not just the ways in which it returns, but the forms in which it's returned. That's what I'm trying to say. Look in your solar plexus. I've got give and receive. okay, which is reinforcing what I said about a sense of worthiness around all of that. That's informing how you show up. You're able to actually show up more consistently because of your change in attitude. You've had a change of heart. Look at that Ace of Cups in reverse. That's what's shifted. That's what's changed. Two of Pentacles. It actually says change. Okay? And more than that, this is giving me this idea of giving and receiving. It gives me like this, you give, you receive back. You give, you receive back. It actually builds the sense of momentum around giving and receiving. And not just that, as I was shuffling earlier, I also heard, I don't know what it's called. It feels like a boat, some kind of a watercraft that is propelled by, like it uses diesel, and they pull this thing. I don't know what you call this thing, but as they kind of pull on this thing, it pulls the petrol into, or the diesel into the vehicle or the watercraft's engine, and then it starts. It's now powered and it goes. Okay, it feels like you that's how you've sort of, your giving and receiving has kind of powered your craft in this way. Okay, and so now you're in momentum, you're going, you're not at your destination yet, but you know how to get things going. You got them going. In your heart over here, I have kindness, I have the Queen of Swords, and I have the Empress in terms of where you're from. This is telling me that you have such an open heart right now. You're being really kind to yourself. This has been coming through in the messages recently. You're also really looking at how your heart feels realistically. You're no longer dealing with this runner-chaser dynamic that you were dealing with yourself, where there's a fear of your own feelings. You now really respect the information that your feelings have for you. I'm also seeing a clear distinction between feelings from your environment and feelings born of mental activity. Okay? I'm seeing a clear distinction between those two things. In your throat, I'm seeing something that feels new. I'm seeing a newfound sense of freedom. I'm seeing your self-creation of your high priestess nature realized through expression. Okay, what I mean by that is we have the high priestess showing up twice. Okay, what you have done now is that you are taking knowledge from what you receive and what you express. So through your expression, you are literally realizing yourself through what you're learning from your own expression. Because you've surrendered to this, you're now, and with this newfound appreciation for your environment and your open-heartedness and your open-mindedness, all of this openness that you, and gratitude that you're practicing and experiencing, because of that, you're now able to totally surrender to your form of expression and continue to create yourself. You're in a serious relationship with your expression, is actually how it's coming out. You know, if I had to summarize this particular reading, what I would say is that you have found a sense of freedom, loving what you do, having completely shifted how you're seeing your world, finding freedom in that, because trusting your world means that you can surrender to it, means that you can give to your world because you believe that you're going to receive from your world. This has come from you actually choosing. I've got the Lovers card here. This has come from you choosing a different mindset, from shifting the way you expect things to happen, and also choosing better. And by that, I'm saying choosing only what makes sense to you and what you feel to be, sense, what you sense and feel to feel true and to be true, okay? Because what you feel is what becomes true, right? And so you, through actually believing what you feel, and believing that what you want to realize in your life is valid, you have stopped working against yourself. And so now the result is this newfound sense of freedom. The result is a real change in the wind, the direction that things are moving in. Feeling empowered because of how you got this starting. And so you're really in touch with your system and how it works. I'm going to close this reading here. So after this point in the reading, I actually went on to ramble about a whole lot of other things I've learned about YouTube, about how I edit, how I run my channel, the reasons I do and don't do certain things that I do. Okay, I'm going to separate that part of the reading because I don't want to overclutter this particular video. I'm going to embrace this way of doing things more. And what I'll do is I'm going to leave a link of an unlisted video in the comments or description box below, so that if you're interested in hearing more about like where my head is at and what I'm doing, you can read up on that there. Not read up, I meant listen. Most of my thank yous are in that link below, but I just want to say thank you again for anyone who doesn't go there. I appreciate you all so much, beyond what words can cover. Daily I think about you. Daily I want to come record, share what I'm seeing in the energy, what I'm feeling through the energy. My relationship with channeling is completely different to where it was even a year ago, even a few months ago. And so personally, I am just so pleased with the direction that I'm feeling taking place. I am rambling again, sending you all so much love.